Okay, so as you see, I have here a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Or do I? What do you think? Well, you can't see my head. I'm gonna have to go back a little bit. Alright. This is what I received after paying a nice amount of money to a gentleman on Craigslist here in the Philadelphia area. Looks like a Samsung Galaxy 7 Edge, doesn't it? Well, at least the box. And then you look at the back. And then you open it up. Well, it's falling, but you open it up, and inside is, see the back here. I think I'm gonna have to come closer. Okay, not sure if you can see it very well. I hope so. Certainly looks like a Samsung Galaxy Edge 7 Edge. It's nice and curved on the side, at least to me, someone who's never seen a Samsung Galaxy Edge except for at the store every once in a while. And inside this, I knew it was going to be open because he told me he used it. He had said that he needed to pay his ex child support, and that's why he had to get rid of it quickly for a cheaper price. It said in the ad that it was a new Samsung Galaxy 7 Edge, the gold premium standard, and that it had I think 60, it had more RAM than normal. Like, I guess normally it's like 32, but this said 64. And I didn't have a reason to think that it wasn't true. He said that it was originally from T-Mobile, but that it was unlocked to be used anywhere. And when I called, he was very, very polite to me. He did a little bit of a basic, how you doing? You know, I was just like, is your phone available still? And he's like, so how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. He's like, so what do you have right now? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, like, what kind of phone do you have? What service do you have? And so he's kind of making small talk. And he's like, what area you in? And I'm kind of said my area. And he's like, do you have any questions about it? And I had a few, and I asked him. That's when I asked him why he was getting rid of it, and he told me why, and I believed him. And then he said, where would you like to meet? You know, when could you do this? First he asked, what are you offering as far as how much? And I said, well, your ad said a certain amount, and then I said, so I'm just going to offer that amount. And then he said, where do you want to meet? And I said, well, that's when I told him the area I lived in. And then he seemed to know the area. He said he was actually visiting his kids in the his kids at his ex's, well, at their mom's house. So he basically knew the area, and I told him I'd meet him at a Burger King near a certain dollar store, which I knew what he was talking about. Didn't have any reason not to believe him. And I get there, and I get there a little bit early, and he calls me, and he's like, so, how far are you? How long are you going to be? And I'm like, I'm actually already here. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. He goes, I'll be on my way. And then he didn't show up for a while. So I texted him, and I'm like, well, you did say Burger King near dollar store in, and then I said the name of the town, and question mark, and he didn't respond. And then I said, well, what kind of car are you going to be driving? He didn't respond. And then he responded with like some weird text, and then on my way, driving right now. So then he shows up maybe 10, 20 minutes later, pulls in as fast as anything, and tells me that, you know, he had to basically rush quickly because his kids were at home and he couldn't leave them there for a long time. So I believed him. He showed me the phone. He turned it on. He turned it around. He flipped, you know, he just did some stuff. It seemed normal. He even had the little key, and he showed me how to use the key to open up and put in the SD card and the RAM. And he handed it to me, and I handed him the money. He counted the money, and then he literally sped out as quickly as he left. He came in. He was in a nice car too, so it's kind of iffy as to why he wouldn't have had the money for his child support. But I believed him. Least I could have thought. I didn't go by myself either. When I was going back, one of my kids said to me, "Mom, what if that is, you know, a drug addict or something? He's going to pay for his next fix." And I said, you know, that's actually what I thought. I said, well, you know what? Let's just pray that that's not it. Or if it is, pray that he stops. And I never, ever imagined my phone would be a fake. But it was. First thing, I turned it on, started using it, noticed it kept turning on to the phone. Instead of turning on normal, it would turn on right to the phone. And then my kids were trying to call me, and they kept saying they were calling me and tried calling me like 10 times, and none of the phone numbers went through. Then I couldn't get any text messages, and so I thought that was a problem with my compatibility, so I went online, saw all these problems, and found a certain website that actually, or a Facebook thing that said 10 things that are hidden that all Samsung 7 Edges have, and it even had those secret things. I forgot to mention that earlier that day I also had tried to get a cover for it, and the cover would not fit. And I thought there was a problem with the cover because I got it at, you know, Five Below. And I took it back. Then I came across a website, or a Facebook, or YouTube page, a YouTube video that said, how can you tell if your phone is a fake? I watched it. My heart sunk. It had all of the different, all of them, every single thing on that video my phone had. So what does this mean? Let me show you what I mean. First of all, I'm going to get real close. I'm going to get down here because I can't do that up there. You start out by, first of all, it's really hard to even tell if this is a fake if you just have the phone if you just have the case and the phone by itself. It's easier to compare it to another one. But I'm going to kind of do what I can and say what I remember. Basically, the boxes basically look the same. However, on the back, it's not the same. You can, mine looks like this. If you have a real one, you can actually see that it's different. If I'm not mistaken, the real ones don't have this gold standard, the 64 megabytes. I'm not positive about that, but I think that might be true. But when you open it up, this thing is all plastic. With the real one, it's made much better. Another thing, I was dumb. This, yes, he gave it to me with a Samsung charger, but the Samsung charger is the same exact one that I have with mine from years ago. So that's not any good. I had given my daughter the earbuds, thinking my daughter needed a good pair. She was using some other brand and wanted us to pay a lot of money. So I go, as soon as I get the box, I hand her the earbuds, thinking she's going to be so happy she gets a nice good pair, thinking there's no way on earth Samsung is going to give us a crappy pair. Well, they gave us a crappy pair. This doesn't even say Samsung on it. It probably was purchased at the dollar store. These are just... Honestly, my daughter tried them. They didn't even work. One of the ears is completely blown. They don't even work. And from what I'm told, Samsung's, the real ones for this phone, are black. I didn't know. Another thing. That key that unlocks the top, you might want to look at what that looks like, because I can show you what mine looks like, but first time I used it, it broke. That's how pitiful it was. But mine kind of just looks like a what is that called? Paper clip, kind of. That's the other end of it. And then this was longer. This edge, it went out a few centimeters. But like I said, it broke the second... Actually, it was the second time I used it, because the first time he had put it in, and the second time I put it in, and yeah, it's broke. Another thing, when you go to look at the phone itself, it's really hard to tell the difference, but the edge on this isn't quite the way a Samsung Edge is. And one big giveaway is, yes, when you turn my phone on, this phone, the fake, on, I'll turn it on. It does start. I know it turns on. Here it goes. I want you to see that it looks, whoa, sorry. See, it comes up with the Samsung screen, the normal thing. It says, you know, 4G, LTE, whatever. This is, which is odd because T-Mobile is what he said it was. And that's what it actually shows. So, does that mean T-Mobile sold it to him as a fake? I don't know. I don't know how T-Mobile got on there, but that's what it says. And maybe T-Mobile was selling them as fakes. I'm not sure. But one of the things is... Okay, let me show you how... As you see these things right here, they are lit up. But with the real one, you're not supposed to be even able to see the arrow and the square at the bottom. But with this one, I'm going to see if I can show you over here. You can actually see it before you even press it. See that? And then you press it, and then it comes on. But you can still see it. Evidently with the real ones, you're not supposed to be able to see it till you actually press it. You probably can't hear it, but listen. Hear that click? That's not supposed to happen either. Kind of goes up to how the phone was made. There are some other things like the phone, the actual camera on the phone. I noticed that very first night. My son took a picture, and we were hearing how great the camera was, and I was not impressed. Actually, I was really disappointed. I'm like, maybe he gave me a phone after he broke it or something and tried to fix it. That was the worst I thought he could have done. And there's another few things. The operating system. Let's just go into, I'm going into the operating system. I'm going to show you. Okay, so we're going to scroll all the way down. About your phone. I don't know if it's supposed to have 8 cores, but this says it has 8 cores. Evidently, all this stuff is fake. And one thing that's odd is Android 6.1. You see that? I don't think these are supposed to have that operating system. Anyway, I do know that there is something different that has to do with the actual way the camera looks itself. I'm not sure if you can see the way my camera looks. It's not right. I'm not sure exactly what's different about it, but it's not right. I do know that it does seem pretty nice. It seems like it runs okay, but I can't get it to run on the internet. I ran they have on YouTube a way to put in, like, I forget what the numbers were, but like to add, let me see if it's under my log, if it's still in there. Yeah, I think it's, maybe not. There was a website that, or a Facebook page, I keep saying Facebook, I'm sorry, a YouTube video that told you different numbers to press, like, to dial out, and it will basically let you go through a testing of all of everything. I had done this before I found out that it was fake, and I had noticed that when I went through the green, red, and blue screen or something, it was not correct. It was like the pixels were all missing right here, and as I see right here, there's pixels missing right there. And when I did the test for the sensor, it wasn't working at all. And there were a whole bunch of tests that were not working. That's what gave me a little bit of a clue that there really was something going on. And that's when I started to really research. So yeah, this camera is pretty bad. It's not a good camera. Let's take a picture. All right. I did the wrong thing, didn't I? Let's go back and try to find the actual camera. So I want to show you how bad this picture is. But anyway, that's how I found out that I started researching those to figure out how to fix the sensor, how to fix the missing pixels. Yeah, it didn't work. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. Where is it? I don't even think it's working. Let's take a picture. I seriously don't think the camera is working at all. Did it work? Okay. So it worked. It's not the greatest picture. It takes a picture, but it's not the greatest picture. Not that good at all. Not a good picture like you would think a Samsung Galaxy 7 Edge should take. I'm actually going to leave a link below to the video that I watched, which has all of the different things to look out for. I just listed a few. Now that I know that it's a fake, I don't know what to do with the phone, because it didn't actually take in most of my calls, because my kids were swearing they were calling me, and I even looked on their phone and it was in their log. They had called me multiple times. When I finally took my card out of, my SD card out of this phone and put it back into my old phone, there were like 20 missed calls and a lot of missed text messages. So I don't know what to do with it. So I just want to warn you guys out there. They're out there. They're so similar that it's hard to know if it's real or not. But do your research before you go and purchase a phone. Please do your research. Okay? Bye.